Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. I'm your host, PattSun, and today we're going to be taking a look at r/cheating stories, where OP dodged a bullet infected with STDs. Let's begin. Betrayed by my girlfriend and my cousin at a wedding. Posted by Reddit user Gonna Throw Away.
Hey Reddit, I uploaded my story a few days ago, but the moderator deleted it due to lack of paragraphs. So here it is again with paragraphs. I'll post more updates as time goes on. Here goes. So, my girlfriend Francesca and I have been together for a couple of years now. We both smoke cannabis, though I limit myself to fortnightly sessions due to tolerance build up from my teenage years. Francesca, on the other hand, has a penchant for drinking, which she does every weekend.
Red flag!
We attended my cousin's wedding not too long ago. Now I'm not much of a drinker, but Francesca convinced me to swap my usual joint for a few rounds of drinks at the reception. I got more drunk than I've ever been, and I stumbled upon Francesca doing cocaine with Sean, my other cousin.
Is that also a red flag?
Crimson.
Sean and I aren't close. He sees me as a weirdo who gets high all the time, while I see him as an arrogant, spoiled bully. It felt like a slap in the face to find them together like that. Even more so when Francesca brushed it off as her just having a good time. Despite our argument, we ended up in bed together. The next morning, I woke up to find her gone. My heart sank, but I tried not to jump to conclusions. Down at the reception, I overheard some of Sean's friends joking about how Sean was shagging his cousin's girlfriend. I confronted them, demanded to know which room they were in, and insisted one of them come with me. The sound of sex was audible before we even reached the room. I told Sean's friend to knock and get Sean out without telling him why. After repeated shouting and knocking, Sean opened the door to see me. He backed away. I followed him into the room. My Francesca, was in bed, looking shocked and asking, "What is it?" Sean stayed silent. I could only stand there as she became hysterical, claiming it's not what it looks like. But it was exactly what it looked like. I left without saying a word. So that's my story, Reddit. I'm feeling a mix of betrayal, anger, and confusion right now. I'm open to any advice, any words of wisdom, as I navigate through this. Thanks for reading. Update. Hey again, Reddit. I'm still trying to come to terms with everything that's happened since that night at the wedding. I've read every single one of your comments on my previous post, and I can't begin to express how much your words of support have meant to me. Francesca has been incessantly trying to reach me. Calls, texts, even showing up at my apartment, you name it. She's desperate to explain, to justify what happened. But honestly, I've been too numb and too hurt to listen. Sean, well, he's been disturbingly silent towards me. However, he's been more than vocal about the situation with the rest of our cousins. I found out he's been boasting about what happened that night. I only got wind of this when an uncle reprimanded him for his behavior. To say I'm disgusted would be an understatement. And the reaction from my other cousins, well, it's been far from supportive. Many are content to laugh at my expense, and it feels like an additional betrayal. They've started referring to me as cuck, which is not only immature but also incredibly hurtful. I've decided I don't need that kind of negativity in my life right now. As for Francesca, we still haven't spoken. I'm not sure I'm ready to hear her side of things yet, but I know I will need to at some point. I need that closure to move forward. Right now, my focus is on myself. I'm trying to regain a sense of normalcy, taking one day at a time. I'm reconnecting with old hobbies, trying to find joy in the little things again. I know there's a long road ahead. Healing isn't linear, and I expect there will be good days and bad days. But I'm taking the first steps, and that's what matters. I'll update again when there's more to share. Until then, thank you for your continued support. It means more than words can express. Mini update. My cousin Lucille called me today to apologize. She seemed genuinely remorseful, which was a change. She also informed me about a new lie Sean's been spreading. That Francesca and I had an open relationship and her sleeping with other men was part of our kink. According to him, I was just annoyed that he got involved. I can't say I'm surprised by Sean's behavior, but it's still disheartening. However, it's a clear reminder of why I've chosen to distance myself from that part of the family. Update 2. Since my last post, I've made arrangements to attend therapy regularly. It's a lifeline and should help me navigate this mess. I'm still not speaking with my other cousins. Their lack of empathy and respect has left a sour taste, and I'm not sure that will ever change. However, I did speak with Rona, Francesca's sister. She came over to pick up her stuff, and what she revealed shocked and disgusted me. Francesca has a history of infidelity, often with men who are drug dealers to settle her debts. I was so sickened by this information that I physically threw up. Many of you were right, the cheating and the coke were not the first time this has happened. How the hell did I not notice any of the signs? I immediately called my doctor to get tested for STDs. These days waiting for the results are some of the most stressful I've experienced. To say I'm devastated would be an understatement. I'm back at square one, reeling from the hurt and the humiliation. But I'm going to continue with my therapy and try to learn from this painful experience. Thank you, Reddit, for being here. Your support means more than you know. I'll keep you updated on my progress.
OP, in regards to your ex, you already have more than enough reason to kick her back to the streets where she belongs. I just want you to remember that not only is she a cheater, she's a drunk and a drug addict that fucks her drug dealers. An absolute train wreck of a whore. Hopefully her sister took everything that belonged to her so you can go no contact forever. As for your cousin Sean, why not tell the police about it, OP? He's obviously a drug dealer or at least a heavy user. Plus, he was bragging about having sex with an inebriated woman. I think it's more than enough grounds for an arrest. Get your revenge on that disrespectful little fucker. And now for today's second story. Am I the asshole for kicking my son, his girlfriend, and my grandson out of my house? Posted by Reddit user NiceAd779.
I and my husband ran into an issue with my son last year. During the pandemic, his girlfriend got pregnant. He moved her in with his roommates who were not happy. The roommates left and they resigned with the landlord just themselves, but his girlfriend couldn't or wouldn't find a job and he lost his job a few months later and couldn't pay rent. They stayed for 7 months and then got evicted. Now they have an eviction on their record and terrible credit because they lived off of credit cards, so they have thousands in credit card debt. I didn't want them moving in. My son lived at home until he was 31, so we had a lot of trouble getting him to move out. But his girlfriend was giving birth soon, so we took them in. They stayed for almost a year and the deal was they both get jobs. They help pay utilities and pay off their credit cards and find a place to live. They were only supposed to stay for 6 months, but they wouldn't move out when we asked at the end of 6 months. They said because of the eviction on their record, no one would rent to them. They also didn't make enough to pay utilities. So my husband and I paid more in utilities, and they ate for free as well since they would take from the fridge and wouldn't buy any groceries themselves. We offered to help them with baby expenses, diapers, car seat, etc. at first, but it's been almost a year, and we are still paying for it. They were doing DoorDash but not working more than 3 to 4 hours a day. I kept trying to get my son to get a full-time job, but he just got angry and accused me of nagging him. His girlfriend also is very messy and doesn't clean up after herself. I've changed more diapers and fed her son more than she has, and it's infuriating because they chose to have a child but won't take responsibility. My husband and I have been retired for 2 years now and we had planned to move to Chile where I am from. We were supposed to sell the house last year and didn't just to let them stay, but it's now been over a year and we were sick of it. We kept telling them they had to move out and they just ignored us, so we put our house up for sale. We had wanted to renovate it first, but they wouldn't let us into their bathroom and room, so we decided just to sell as is. We got a fair offer and closed in a weekend, told them they had 2 months to move. My son yelled at us for kicking them out and not caring about him and shattered our decorative vase we had. They finally moved out and we are in between places and will be going to Chile next month. But my son and his girlfriend currently have nowhere to live. They are staying with a friend now, but they are only letting them stay until the end of the month and then they will have to figure it out. My son yells at me over the phone and tells me I'm never allowed to see my grandson again for kicking us out. I don't know where I went wrong that he couldn't be an adult and get a job and move out without being forced.
OP, just a gentle reminder. Your son is 38 years old. My goodness me. It sounds like you have spoiled him growing up, but he has a kid of his own now. He needs to grow up fast. Sadly, the only way he can learn that is by experiencing the full brunt of the real world fucking him in the ass. You are obviously not the asshole here, OP. You did more than enough to help your son. I do have one suggestion. Perhaps you could set up a trust fund for your grandkid for when he comes of age, because it sounds like he will definitely need it someday. Something completely untouchable until the kid is maybe 21 or so, and then it can only be used on higher education or maybe a down payment on a house. Try and consult a lawyer about it. Good luck, OP. Viewer support is the best way for me to remain independent and continue bringing you these daily videos, which will always be here on my channels for you to watch absolutely free. So please consider subscribing to me on Rumble and on YouTube. Both will be linked in the description box down below. Thanks for listening, everyone. If you even somewhat enjoyed today's story, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and if you really like it, consider subscribing to PattSun to never miss a future upload. Stay strong.